Welcome to the Militia Gaming Community. I'm Trigger, and this is my guide for the Santa Cruz 2 Summit in the Crew 2. Let's go! I'm giving away an Xbox Series X to one of my subs this holiday season. Click the giveaway video link in the description or in the top right of this video now to watch the video and enter the giveaway. Just being a sub will not automatically put you in the giveaway, you must officially enter. So go watch that video, enter, and then come back to this one. Good luck! The idea behind these summit guides is to help you earn platinum rewards every single week. I'm not claiming to be the best in the world, but I do have some really good advice for the average player to help boost you from gold or silver to rank up into platinum. I get platinum every single week, and it's because I study the best runs for each event before the summit goes live. This video is, like I said, a collection of the things I've learned from studying. Alright, let's get into it. First up, the escape Detroit, and there is no car restriction on this escape. You'll need to go around the escape and hit it from the other side. You'll make a left onto the freeway down below and just stay there for as long as you can. This is the exact path that the world record holder takes. The key is dodging traffic as best you can. I'm not the best at it, but I still managed to get a score ranking in the top 100. This will be plenty enough for 100,000 points, and that's the goal on each event. I love using my Regera for these escapes because it has great top speed. The world record holder uses a Corvette Stingray drag car, but you don't need to do that for a platinum score. You can simply use a hypercar of your choice. My pro settings for the Regera are like this. Next up, the Stadium Speed Trap. This speed trap does not have a car restriction and is definitely a drag car speed trap. There's a road that goes straight for a long time up this hill. I recommend going up to the top of that hill and try to get as much speed as you can without hitting any cars on the way down. I managed to do it and got a speed that was in the top 200 players. This will definitely be enough for 100,000 points, and you can move on to the next event. I'm using the Corvette Stingray drag car, and these are my pro settings. The next event is a low altitude event at Glacier Park. Again, no plane restriction on this one. This is a very difficult thing to do well. It's easy to get an average score, and it's certainly easy to get a score above the objective, but to actually do well and get a super high score for the summit, it is very tough. That being said, here are my tips. First, if you have parts with the skilled affix stat on them, definitely throw those on your plane. That will help you increase your overall score. Second, there are two ways to attack this. You can fly regular and get low and go for as long as you can in the given amount of time. I managed to do okay with that strategy, but the difference in points if you can manage to fly upside down is huge. Instead of a max multiplier of 3, when you fly upside down, you get a 3.6. That's a 20% boost to your points. So if you've got the skill with the airplanes and can control the plane upside down, I recommend doing it that way. If not, go ahead and do it right side up, go as far as you can and stay as close to the water as you possibly can. I managed to snag a score near the top 100 with that tactic with my GB plane. My pro settings are the default settings with this GB plane. The next event is a live extreme series called Holiday. This features 3 different events. You've got a rally raid, a street race, and a powerboat event, all crammed into one event. You can practice this by going to the Live Extreme Series and then click on the Live Extreme Series Holiday event. This event is actually very easy. All 3 events are very straightforward. There's no real shortcuts to them. And I was able to, on my very first run a time that was good enough for 32nd in the world. So I think that this is something that you should find pretty easy. Hopefully you have a rally raid vehicle, a street race vehicle, and a powerboat that are leveled up fairly well. If you do, you will do fine on this. If not, you might struggle, but it really just depends on how fast your vehicles are. because the courses themselves are fairly easy. Moving on to the Alpha GP Jersey City using a Red Bull car. For this event, I'm just going to be giving you commentary over the first lap on this track. You can follow this advice and then repeat it for the next few laps. Alright, so I usually NOS straight away, and I try to get into 6th or 7th gear by the time I hit this turn here. This next one, you're going to want to stay wide, let off the gas in 7th, and then take this turn with half throttle. After that, it's a full throttle straight with a little jog to the left, to the right, and then downshift to 5th into this turn right here. Now, if you're using an automatic transmission, just brake. Know that the brakes are very good on these cars, and you can hit that in 5th gear. Again, downshift, 4th gear on this, half throttle, then full throttle. Notice I got a little bit loose on that corner. It's because I put too much throttle into that going into that turn. And that's really it for this race. Here are my pro settings for the Red Bull RB14. Next up is the street race San Francisco Commute using the GPZ 900R Ninja. This race is fairly straightforward, but there are a couple of things that you should keep in mind. The motorcycles do not have the same turning radius as the cars do, so you need to do everything possible to maximize your turning angle and hit the apex of the turn in as many turns as you can possibly do it. In layman's terms, you need to use all of the road, start wide, cut in, and then end wide. Next, there is a shortcut at about 26%. As you go through the checkpoint, you can cut across the grass to the right. Just make sure you don't hit any trees. Also, even though I didn't do it in this clip, you can avoid the jump at the top of the hill and save a little time there as well. My pro settings for the GPZ 900 are like this. The next event is a crossover event. You will be forced to drift on the Miami racetrack in a Delta S4 rallycross vehicle. Your pro settings are going to be really key here. I took my Delta S4 to the Miami track for some testing, and here's what I found. When adjusting the pro settings, you have to find a balance between oversteering and angle and lack of rear wheel spin. The more oversteer you have, the more rear wheel spin you will have, and the greater drifting angle. But you will also find that your car is very uncontrollable as well. But if you choose to limit the oversteer a little, then it makes it hard to maintain long drifts because you will get a lack of rear wheel spin and your drift angle will be not as wide. So what I've done is found a balance that suits me, and I've practiced using this handling model on the very track where the event will take place. This is not going to be an easy event for most people. I believe though that with these pro settings and a little bit of practice, you can take home 100,000 points. As you can see in the footage, I can maintain drifts pretty well. The transition from side to side is a little sketchy though, and that's where the practice comes in. Try your best not to over-rotate the car, because if you do, you will lose control very, very quickly. So here are my pro settings for the Delta S4. Next up, the Rally Raid Portfoliage using the Countryman All-4 Racing. The Portfoliage Rally Raid is one of the most frustrating races because it feels like at times you have literally no control over your car, especially when you're going down some of those extremely bumpy hills. Also, rally raids are interesting because you can choose your own path provided you go through the checkpoints. So for that reason, what you are seeing is my entire run using the Countryman All-4 Racing. Take notice of my paths. This is the exact path that the world record holders take, and it is definitely the fastest way through this course. Notice that I make several mistakes and slow down quite a bit at the end. Needless to say that the run really could have been much cleaner, and I still ended up with the 35th fastest time out of 31,000 players. That's just outside the top 1%. That's how difficult this race is. Most players cannot complete it in under 2 minutes and 10 seconds, so this time will be very good for the summit. I think you need to shoot for 2 minutes and 20 seconds for a decent score in the summit, so start practicing this route so you know what to look out for.
Now you're racing for real. I'm glad to see I was wrong about you.
My pro settings on the Countryman look like this. Next up, the West Commercial Bush and Mira drift event using the Agera R. First, before we get into the drifting, I would advise having the slippery affix on all parts in your build. If you have the money to get Hothead as well, that's a really nice secondary affix stat because the Agera carries a lot of speed and Hothead gives you multiplier for speed. I'm going to show you my best run in full so you can get an idea of how I do things, and I'll be back after this run is over. I'm actually really proud of this score as I'm nearing the top 50 with it, and my pro settings for this Agera R are like this. Alright guys, that's it for this one. I know the video was a little bit longer because I did show a couple of full runs in this video. I'm trying to make these a little bit easier and more digestible so that you can study and get ready for the week summit. However, sometimes it requires me to show you the full run, and so this video did run on just a little longer. If you have any questions about this video or any of the events in this week's summit, you're more than welcome to send me a DM on Instagram or Twitter. I'm always checking my DMs and reading those messages, so send me any questions you have. Shout out to all the Militia subs. Thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.